Hey, it's Alex from FGod Gaming again, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Factorio. In this episode, I'm going to be exploiting a little bit more of the oil industry. Um, First off, I'm going to be beefing up my defenses a little bit and expanding my electricity production, I believe, if I remember right. Um, so basically, in the last episode, I was getting attacked a lot from the southwest, and decided to put a stop to that. You'll have to excuse me. When I was playing this, I was really scatterbrained, so I'm kind of all over the place. So please, if you're screaming at your screen telling me to focus, I apologize. But anyway, the plan is to build that wall there, build a crap ton of laser turrets all the way around there, and protect the power production, because once that goes down, it's just, yeah, all hell breaks loose. And yeah, in order to do that, I have to start producing batteries. And in order to do that, I need to be producing, well, basically everything that comes from the petroleum gas. So, yeah, it's a little bit of an involved process. Um, but yeah, first off, I'm going to expand my electricity production. Um, I think this is going to be the last string of boilers that I'm going to put in. I'm going to try and switch solely over to solar after this. Hopefully that works out for me. And if you notice, the solid um, oil fuel is kind of low there, which kind of becomes a problem here in a minute. But I think I get that fixed before the end of the episode, which is a good thing. But basically, just setting up the sulfuric acid production there. Um, of course, I have to bring iron and copper over, so that's the next step. Um, and I'm doing my best there to get it lined up with all the factories. And a crap ton of biters come, and I die. So that was try number one. That was basically just bad timing. If they would have gone directly for those turrets, which they usually do, I would have been just fine. But yeah, they saw me first. Um, but yeah, so I decide to start as much as I can, and then I help with the turrets and killing everything. And yeah, not very much left. So yeah, this is also the first episode that I recorded in um, 0.10, which I don't know. I don't mind it. I don't like that they changed the stacks from 64 and 128 and what have you to 50 and 100. Um, just kind of makes it a little bit more difficult, but yeah, I think for the most part it works out. I like the animations. They're definitely better. And yeah, I really haven't noticed too many bugs. The only bug that I've noticed is one time my turrets raised up and they didn't fire. But yeah, that wasn't that big of a deal. So, but yeah, just making sure that my iron and steel and all that is keeping up, kind of reloading with ammo there as well. And yeah, just back to trying to get that sulfuric acid going. Now, if you haven't made it that far, the sulfuric acid, of course, takes sulfur, which takes petroleum gas. So you have to have the sulfur made in a chemical plant being fed by the petroleum gas. And then the sulfuric acid is the sulfur and iron. And I believe both of those take water as well. I know the sulfuric acid does, but yeah, it looks like the sulfur does as well. So generally, I don't try to split, even if they're in close proximity to each other, I don't try to split my power production water with my oil production water. And the reason for that is um, if you lose pressure with your water, or in other words, if you don't produce enough water, your power goes out like that. And it's a pain in the neck to fix. And it's just something that I've had to deal with at a couple other saves, and I just don't like doing it. Um, so yeah, that's my story about why I split those off. And it's not like it takes a ton of resources to make another pump either. So um, and there we go. We have our batteries set up. Now, what I probably should have done was start making laser turrets right away and get those set up around my generators and all my other stuff, but I got distracted with research and um, making advanced circuitry and stuff like that. So again, please don't yell at me too much, but yeah, that's what happened. So right now I'm setting up my plastics factory, which is needed to make advanced circuits as well as a few other things. But the main thing is your advanced circuits, and yeah, all that is directly from the petroleum gas, and you also need coal. So that's why I left that vein, well, not vein, but that line of coal running up to the north, because I knew that I would need that eventually. And grab some more transportation belts there, and just run it right over to the plastics factory, and there we go. Now, because that coal is going such a long distance, once I kind of get more established, all of the weaponry that requires coal is going to be off that main line as well. But yeah, just kind of getting the rest of that factory set up, monitoring the levels in my oil production. Um, Again, once I kind of get a little bit more established, I think I'm going to double all of that up and be cranking stuff out pretty well. But uh, but yeah, of course, the advanced circuitry requires a normal electric circuit and a copper wire, which and plastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the iron and copper to the north of the factory and run the plastic line to the south of it so that it can grab, while the electronic circuit and the copper wire can feed off the north, feed it into the middle factory, and then the middle factory can grab the plastic from the south. So it's not necessarily the best way of doing it, but it is a pretty decent way, at least in my opinion. And as you can see, my copper production is starting to suffer there. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do for that. I mean, obviously, I'm going to have to do something, but the problem isn't that I haven't upgraded those um, smelters yet. It is that there's not that big of a copper field there. So one way or another, I'm going to have to get more copper ore to the refinery, and I'm not sure if I want to go look off to the east there and set up a railroad, or if I want to kind of combine two or three smaller copper deposits into that one over there, which would kind of be going through the main area of my factory. So I'm not sure if I want to do that, but I'm sure I'll have to figure that out in the next episode. So, um, also, putting down some electric furnaces there so I don't have to keep refueling them. That really drained my power, and that's kind of, I think that's one of the main reasons why I started running out of fuel. But yeah, you'll see here in a minute, I do kind of an emergency maneuver to tide myself over, but yeah, just starting to set up the rest of the advanced circuitry there, and checking the electricity, which as you saw, I just upgraded it and I'm almost running at full capacity, which is almost never good. I need to get those advanced circuits going. Excuse me, and I need to get some effectivity modules going. Those things are amazing, especially for the furnaces and just basically anything that takes a lot of energy that you don't need it to be fast. So most of my factories end up getting those modules, and um, like I said, my electric furnaces do, and a lot of my mines end up getting that as well, actually. And there, I forgot how to drive a car and kind of smashed into a mine. I'm, yeah, I don't know if they changed it in this version or if I just wasn't paying attention, but I crashed twice, and I usually don't crash too much. There you see the second time that I crashed. But yeah, I start running out of fuel. Notice that my inserters are going slow and all that. And yeah, that's never good. So I had some fuel in my personal inventory, um, luckily, and was able to kind of tide it over. And basically, what I end up doing is branching that line of coal off and putting it back into the boilers, at least until the the oil production can get caught back up. Which I do go over there, set up another factory for the solid fuel production, and hopefully that's going to be putting out enough to where I don't have to worry about that anymore and can kind of cut that coal off. But yeah, as of the end of this recording, it's still that's still running. So yeah, we'll see how it goes when we take that coal line out of there again. But but yeah, it's at least partially running on oil. So I mean that's something, right? But yeah, just kind of going down there and making sure everything's flowing properly. And this next one that I'm setting up is the laser turret factory, which the laser turret needs the electric circuit and steel and the battery. So that's kind of what I'm setting up there. Um, Hopefully, relatively quickly, I'll have a pretty good supply of those laser turrets going, and I will have enough solar power going to kind of offset a lot of the boilers and stuff like that, so that I'm not producing quite as much pollution. I feel like that's a big reason why I'm getting attacked so much, especially with that base so close up there to the northwest. And yeah, once I get the laser turrets going, I mean, I should be able to raid those worms relatively easily. I do kind of do it the cheap way a lot of times, and kind of inch closer with them with laser turrets. But I mean, it gets the job done, especially before you have really badass military robots. So, but yeah, so this is just me kind of checking my levels on everything, making sure everything is being produced, and yeah, it's this is actually kind of a double episode. I recorded two sessions this night, and actually they were both a little bit short, so I decided to make it into one big episode. So hopefully you're able to, pay attention through the whole thing and it wasn't too long for you. I know personally, about 15 minutes is my max unless it's a really good YouTuber. And I don't claim to be a really good YouTuber by any means, but yeah. And here we go in, and we're trying to increase our copper production, which we do a little bit. But as you can see, that deposit is just so small. I mean, I could probably fit two more mines on there, but that's about it, and that's not going to be enough to keep up with my demand. So basically, I'm kind of doing a little bit of overkill here. But my plan, at least when I was doing this, was to explore off to the east there and maybe find a big copper deposit and kind of have that shipped in to that line there to kind of keep my production going, because I do have some deposits down to the south of my main base, but I really don't want that line going right through my factory, and I really don't want to spend the time and go around like that big lake there in the south. So yeah, it's kind of hard to say. But anyway, this is kind of drawing towards the end of the episode here as I fix my iron production for the 20 millionth time. But yeah, hopefully in the next episode we'll be expanding our copper production, kind of refining our oil production, no pun intended, and yeah, just generally kicking ass. So until then, take care of yourself. And if you like this video, please remember to like it and subscribe. Thanks for watching.